This is a video on a cardboard gun I made. All the parts unfolded. This gun is 8 separate layers of cardboard thick. Each shell, which is taped together so the trigger runs more smoothly, on either side is 2 layers thick. The handle is 4 of these thick. There are unused holes that are poked in this current shell that were tested but were decided in my current version to not be useful. The handle bit that I designed only sticks into the bottom two. It slits in like that. There is a cutout here so that the trigger can slide in more easily while still being a full 4 layers thick. Ta-da! Now that's 6 layers of the gun on the back, 2 of the main body, which also has handle bits, and then the trigger body parts. The gun body is inserted as so. I have 3 toothpicks in it, here, here, and here. This is the trigger. This is the part that needs work on and that I need to make a better working version of before this gun is functional. Ta-da! Leg gun. As you can see, there are 3 holes in it that are currently unused. This is essentially just a shell with a trigger inside. Then it has a part in the back that is supposed to push out and push the rubber bands over the lip. And then they slide forward and off. And the rubber bands are meant to be held in this front bit, the front bit. And this niche here can also be used to store rubber bands that you don't want to shoot, because this can only fire like groups at a time. That is if it worked. This is not a finished product. The trigger part will be worked on more to try to improve. This is not the final trigger. And it does not currently function. In order to cut out the parts, I use a pencil and draw the edges of these pieces of paper, which I place onto cardboard. For the holes through the cardboard, I put holes in the paper, stick the toothpick into the cardboard while the cardboard is still uncut, and then I draw around the edges. This helps making the paper move less, and it also helps put the toothpick in, as it is more stable when there's a big body of cardboard to stick it into. This is for the handle, this is for the main body. Not all the holes in this are on these, as I have made changes that are not on the sketches. This helps keeps the holes aligned though as best as possible, to at least have some holes that are in there so that you can align others better. I simply take a pencil, draw around it, and then I simply just remove the paper and the toothpicks, and then I And then I use a utility knife to kind of just scrape out the cardboard or cut out the cardboard. This is actually my second version of the trigger, but I made some mishaps, and the first version works better at the moment. For example, I cut off the back to try a certain thing, and that didn't really work. And I made this trigger thinner to try and make it slide in there better, but the trigger's too flexy on there now. So instead I cut out the cardboard around here, which is this, for the trigger to slide into. Easier. This is the line that these toothpicks on the trigger piece line into. Okay. I put 3 holes in here, 3 different places for this to go. For the rubber band to go, to test if it would affect the thing. The best one that works seems to be the top one, but I didn't test it that thoroughly. And I plan to try moving the place that the rubber band goes in on this in a future version of this. All of these are versions of the trigger part. I've only actually fully made 2, since this is full 4 whole layers of cardboard that are cut out. And then some tape was put on to help it stay together better, and mainly to improve the friction of it. Mainly. This is a design I came up with all on my own. I'm sure it's not the best working design, it doesn't even work yet, but it's mine, so I'm proud of it. Anyhow, I just use an 8-layer design, and basically this shell. 8 layers of cardboard make up the total thickness of the gun. The part for the trigger area mechanism to go in is 4 layers thick, and then the outer layer is 2 layers on each side thick. And that is the space for the trigger mechanism. And I've kept it all together with toothpicks. As this is not finished, I have not cut the toothpicks so it looks neater, because it's not quite like completed yet. When I do that, I'll probably cut down the toothpicks so it looks better and all that. It works better, but right now I have no reason to cut down the toothpicks. That would just make it hard to put in the toothpicks. So while this is a working project, the toothpicks stick out a bit. What I have back here is the version that I've been using lately, is I've looped it around the front toothpick of the 2 toothpicks I used to align it. But the first one that I did was I would push the rubber band through the hole. And then I would simply loop it around the other toothpick that was in the gun to pull it back forward again and all that. The goal is basically that this just pushes the rubber bands out through the back, and then they slide on over here and shoot. Maybe one day I'll get that to work. If you were gonna make your own of my design, what I would do is I would just use this body shape, this 8-layer thick body shape with the 4 thick and all that. You'll need the cardboard size to cut it out for these main body pieces and then these other pieces. And then you'll need to try to hollow out the internals so you have as much space in there as possible. And from there, you need to figure out what to do in the way of actually making it work. Rubber bands, catching, and so on. It is simply just a rubber band looped around a toothpick. Looped around some other toothpicks. And then it does that. I've had a great many friction problems with when the whole shell is closed and everything. This pushing up and only going back a little bit. And not getting the full drawback to the gun. When I pull back the trigger, that moves, but you can see that the gun body flexes in a bit. And also that this back bit is getting pushed up a bit. And this trigger isn't getting the full prime back. Wait, is that? Okay. But, yeah. That is the state of my cardboard gun. Feel free to make your own. 8 layers. Use paper cutouts. Make sure to do the toothpick holes in the paper cutout so that the holes align. And if you need to add more holes after you've already cut the cardboard out, then just put in the other toothpicks so that it's aligned. Stuff like that, you know? Well, my goal is for this video to reach 10 views. Make it happen, people. Make it happen. Cardboard gun. Bang, bang. The trigger pull feels kind of nice. Well, I'm out of here. See ya.